Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're jumping into a really cool idea. What if you could look at your own life, not as this long list of things you have to do, but as a game? A game that you can actually play and even win. So let's get into it. You know that feeling, right? Where it feels like you're just a background character, an NPC, a non-player character in your own story. Maybe some problem you never asked for, like stress or a creative block, or just that feeling of being stuck, has totally taken over the main storyline. But what if you could pick up the controller and rewrite the whole game? Well, that brings us to this amazing concept, the meta-narrative. It's this powerful idea that your life is a story, and you have the ability to be its co-creator. This is your call to adventure. It's an invitation to step out of the shadows and become the main character. Okay, so to start any new game, you need the right gear, right? In this adventure, that gear is a wellness toolkit. We're going to equip you with a whole set of activities and techniques, and we've broken them down into 5 powerful engines that are going to fuel your journey. So these are the 5 engines that are at the heart of our toolkit. Just think of them as different power-ups for your own personal quest. You've got the identity engine for rewriting your story, all the way to the intervention engine for dealing with those tough thoughts. Each one is designed to power up a specific part of your growth and well-being. All right, first up, the identity engine. And the spotlight tool here is called the Tree of Life. Its origin is just so fascinating. It was actually developed in Southern Africa as a tool for psychosocial support, helping entire communities build up their resilience. So it has this beautiful multicultural foundation for helping us see our own strengths. And the process itself is just as powerful as it is simple. You literally draw your life as a tree. By mapping out your roots, your trunk, your branches, and your leaves, you're doing more than just listing facts about yourself. You're building this powerful visual monument to your own resilience, a second story that can stand tall no matter what comes its way. So once you've mapped out who you are, the introspection engine helps you explore that inner world. And this is where we find a really fascinating tool, solo journaling games. Yeah, these are role-playing games made just for one person, and they use prompts to turn a blank notebook into this amazing landscape for guided self-discovery. So you might be thinking, how is this different from just, regular journaling? Well, a blank page can be pretty intimidating, right? But solo RPGs give you a playful structure. Take a game like Apothecaria, for example. You play as a village witch who has to heal magical creatures. The game's rules and prompts get you thinking creatively, and it basically gamifies self-discovery. And you end up with a real, tangible record of your inner journey. How cool is that? Okay, next up is the unblocking engine. This is for those moments when you feel totally, completely stuck, creatively or mentally. The key tool here is something called oblique strategies. It's a deck of cards created by the musician Brian Eno and artist Peter Schmidt, and it was designed specifically to shatter rigid thinking. Here's the perfect example of what one of the cards might say. Imagine you're working on something and you're just stuck. You draw this card. It forces you to completely reframe your mind. Instead of getting stuck in that anxiety loop of, oh no, I made a mistake, you're invited to see it as a new path forward. This is how these cards work. They break those rigid thought patterns by bringing play and possibility back into the picture. Our fourth engine is all about finding flow. And flow is that amazing psychological state of deep, energized focus where you just lose track of time. A fantastic way to get there is through what people are calling cozy board games. They're literally designed to lower anxiety and get you mindfully engaged. A perfect example of this is the board game Cascadia. You're just quietly building your own little ecosystem in the Pacific Northwest. There's no direct conflict with other players, so your mind is totally free to focus on this really satisfying puzzle of creating patterns with tiles. It's these gentle, absorbing rules that quiet all that mental noise and help you find that flow state. In fact, a lot of players say it feels like a form of meditation. All right, our final engine, the intervention engine, has a tool pulled directly from established therapy practices. It's an incredibly powerful role-playing metaphor from a type of therapy called acceptance and commitment therapy, or ACT, and it's called passengers on the bus. The whole point of this metaphor is to practice something called cognitive diffusion. It asks you to imagine that you are the driver of a bus, and all your difficult thoughts, anxiety, self-doubt, that inner critic, they're just noisy passengers. Now here's the key. You don't have to argue with them. You don't have to kick them off the bus. You can just acknowledge that they're there, shouting in the back, and keep driving toward what's important to you.
Okay, so we've put together this incredible toolkit, we've got all this great gear, but how does it all actually fit together? Well, the real magic happens when you combine them into a single journey, which we've laid out for you here as your first 5 quests.
This is it. This is the roadmap for your adventure. Quest 1 is creating your character sheet. You use the Tree of Life to really ground yourself in your strengths. Then, in Quest 2, you build your quest log by creating a daily practice with journaling games. For Quest 3, you create an encounter deck, using tools like oblique strategies to reframe your challenges. In Quest 4, you explore the world map by finding those states of flow with cozy games to recharge. And finally, Quest 5, the Guild Hall. This is where you share your new, stronger story with people you trust. It's how you make it real. See? Each quest builds on the last, creating a complete, playable path to change.
And all of this brings us to the ultimate goal of this entire toolkit. It's all about making that empowering shift in how you see yourself. It's about going from being that passive background character to becoming the active, engaged hero of your own life.
And if there's one thing to take away from all of this, it's this. Your story isn't some ancient text written in stone that you're just forced to read. No way. It's an interactive game, and you get to decide the next move, moment by moment. So that really just leaves one final empowering question for you. Looking at all these new tools, all these new ways to play, what's the first quest you're going to start? The adventure is officially yours to begin.